Hello, welcome back. Did you miss me? I've been gone for 8 weeks. Can you believe it? Yes, we've had some ill-fated scheduling conflicts and other such dramas. So we've been off the airwaves, but we are back, and what a time to be back. I've left for 8 weeks, and you've managed to send even further into fascism as a country, as a world, indeed. So that's been a lot of fun to write around and talk about in today's monologue, and indeed the rest of the show. I've got a brilliant co-host with me, Runi Talwar, will be joining me in just a moment, and then we'll have returning guests, maybe competing for most returning guests. I'll have to do the maths on it, but Abigoliah will be back in the studio talking about her new podcast. Plus, we have TV royalty. Yes, an icon of the soaps is the wonderful Cheryl Ferguson. Yes, we'll be talking to the one and only Heather Trott in just a moment. But for now, let's have a quick look at what's been going on in the news. Obviously, as we sort of, as I mentioned, descend into fascism in a roundabout sort of way. Roundabout sort of way. There's jokes. You have to shop around yourselves. I can't sell all of them to you. But yes, obviously we have seen the Raise the Colours campaign, putting up England flags all over the place. And obviously the England flag isn't inherently racist, but this is being done by questionable people with questionable motives. And I just don't think it is very respectful of the flag, if you really truly love this country, to sort of daub it on a roundabout with red paint. I mean, nothing good is daubed, is it? That is a verb exclusively for negative things. To daub a roundabout with an England flag, to daub the word nonce onto a local paedophile's garage. That's the only things you daub, like that, with red paint. That's probably the two worst things you can do for the house prices of an area. Roundabout England flag, nonce on a garage. And you might find that offensive, and I also find that very offensive, that in this day and age, as a young Gen Z man, there are paedophiles out there with double-door garages, and I can't even get on the housing ladder. That's actually a lie. I'm very lucky. But I was trying to make a joke about paedophiles and garages. Let's set this tone. Why not? We're 2 minutes into the return on FUBAR Radio, and that's the route we're going down. It is interesting, sort of seeing this move to reform, to right wing, and obviously not every single person of that 100,000 at the march was far right, but the point is they were being radicalised, and that is the worry. Farage is sort of spouting his lies, his conspiracy theories about Turkish barbershops. What are these Turkish barbershops doing? Now, he's wrong on the Turkish barbershop front, because there is a conspiracy theory, but it's not a sort of mass replacement conspiracy theory as he sort of suggests. It's actually a conspiracy theory in cohorts with the Turkish hair replacement industry. That's all it is. There are more Turkish barbers to fund the Turkish hair replacement. That's all it is. It's just plastic surgery feeding each other. There's no sort of great conspiracy other than that, Nigel Farage. But we are getting there. We know there are some concessions being made by the right and the fascists, as this headline proves. TV host admits, "I was wrong to say kill the homeless." So there you go. He's admitted that. That's a concession. He's admitted that it was wrong to say kill the homeless. We're getting somewhere. And we'll finish with this more upbeat story. Oh, yes, I'm also commiserations to dear producer Kieran. It's nice to be back in the studio with Kieran. But obviously he has received very recently this week the heartbreaking, crushing news that Conor McGregor has pulled out of the Irish presidential race. Big fan of Conor McG over there in the booth. And I'm sorry, Kieran, for your loss. And yes, our final story here is Stone Cold Cheats flung out of skimming contest. This is a stone skimming contest on the Scottish Isle of Eastenders, where it's been rocked by a cheating scandal. It's been held on the Isle of Eastenders for 42 years, and the rules are the rocks must come from the island. So you get there the day before, you do your scouting around for your rock skimming, and yes, some untoward competitors have brought their own rocks and sanded down the edges themselves. In the end, the title went to Jonathan Jennings of Kentucky, who competed and beat more than 2,000 people. So there you go. That's 2% of the way to a Tommy Robinson march. That's a large number of stone skimmers. Yes, very sad about the cheating scandal, but I'm glad they resolved it amicably. I wonder whether he's done some stone skimming in his life. What a way to bring in my guest. Hello, Runi Talwar.
Hey mate, how's it going? Great to be here.
Very
thank
good.
you.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. What a week to call me in.
Yeah, no. Well, this is a full. Other than myself, this is a fully immigrant show. Have you?
Yes,
have Abigoliah Shaman?
Yes. That is the way you marketed it as well.
Yes,
yeah. Fully immigrant show.
Fully immigrant show.
I love the idea. With that last story, I love the idea that some news editor was like, Is there enough to fill the newspaper this week? Like, there's the march, the stuff in America. Now let's get the rock skimming story.
Yeah,
let's make sure that gets its own prominent.
It's quite a large, like the Peter Mandelson Jeffrey Epstein stuff doesn't get that much coverage, but this has got quite a chunk, actually.
That's because of all the people clamoring to release the rock skipping papers. That's what we've been all clamoring for, and they're finally giving us what we want.
Finally, yeah, here we are. Yeah, what a week to come in. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me as I sort of get back, at the desk, sort of get my bearings again. I'm glad I have such lovely company. Now, what we're going to do, this is a sort of new thing for the show, is we're going to get a local news story for our guests. Now, you offered me many localities.
I am from many locals.
Indeed. Correct. Auckland, New Delhi, Sydney, Acton, Plymouth even. You got a connection to Plymouth. Now, I was very tempted by Plymouth because I'm a Southwest babe.
That's right.
But we've ended up in Australia for the legend
That's exactly the journey my girlfriend went through. But anyway.
Really?
She was a Plymouth girl, and she somehow ended up in Australia.
No way. So you met in Australia,
yeah.
And now you're back over in...
And now I'm back, yeah. She was like, you come back to the UK. The UK's great. London's great. I moved in January of 2020.
Oh, God.
So you guys can work that one out.
Yeah.
Also, for the first year and a half that COVID lockdown was happening over here, it wasn't locked down in Australia. So I basically looked like I had chosen to move into a lockdown.
Right. So did Australia lock down later then?
Yeah, they locked down a year after the rest of the world, and for not nearly as long.
Yeah.
So they actually handled it well.
Oh, okay. There we go. Actually,
weird concept.
I didn't really follow, and even though there was no news happening really because of the COVID stuff, I think I just checked out.
I think everyone checked out of the world, and that's why it was the nicest period of human history in the last 30 years. Everyone stopped kind of giving a shit, and it was all great.
Everyone just kept to
Everyone
themselves.
was happy. Everyone's baking.
Yeah, a lot of baking.
So
did you
many
bake?
people baking. I baked. I played Animal Crossing. That's what I did for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Best period of my life.
You've got the calm demeanor of a man that would really smash Animal Crossing. Smash is I feel wrong even saying smash, but I mean really good at it.
I'm very calm when I play Animal Crossing. It's been a little bit of time. Probably haven't played it since the end of COVID, but my girlfriend was playing it during COVID, and she's the opposite of calm while playing Animal. I've never seen someone speak so rudely to essentially an anthropomorphic fox.
Yeah. So if you don't know Animal Crossing, it's a game with just these cute little creatures that they're running a little village.
They're always getting in your way. They're just you're trying to put a plant down, or you're trying to build a bridge or something, and they're just roaming around, standing there, right? In any sort of if this was real life and it was a real talking fox, I'd be like, excuse me, mate, do you mind? I'm actually trying to build a bridge for the good of the island. You guys aren't contributing financially. The least you can do is get out of the way.
Well, now I think I understand why your girlfriend gets annoyed.
I think I'm starting to get
you've come from Australia where there's a lot of space for building and people are very happy to
That's right.
do stuff. She's from the Southwest. That is planning applications. That is council objections. That is town hall meetings.
British bureaucracy.
Exactly. So that's triggered something in her, whereas you're like, I'll build this bridge eventually.
Yeah. It's just a bridge. I can use my vaulting pole or whatever it is to cross the river. This is getting very deep into Animal Crossing.
It is, yes.
I think a lot of your audience needs to understand Animal Crossing.
Let's get back to Australia.
Yes.
Which is perhaps something you said in March of 2020.
Immediately, yes.
But yes. With a man that maybe could be, benefiting from some Animal Crossing because he's a very angry, very animated man. I'm going to play you this clip. This is his most recent controversy. It is Bob Catter. Oh, that's my bad. Oh, that's not. Is that
Don't
up?
say that.
There we go.
Because that irritates me, and I punch blokes in the mouth for saying that. Don't you dare say that. My family have been in this country for 140 years, right? So if you say anything like that, I have, on many occasions, punched blokes in the mouth, right? So I'm restraining myself today.
Well, I love the use of the word occasion there. Many occasions.
Exactly. Birthdays, weddings,
bar mitzvahs, funerals, anything you want. So this is Bob Catter, who's a politician in Australia, renowned for his sort of foul-mouthed rants and sort of violent outbursts. This was a reporter saying that, you have Lebanese heritage, which is true, he does, and he was very offended by that. He sort of didn't like the insinuation that he wasn't... which I don't think it was an insinuation that he wasn't of Australia, but he clearly is. He's a bit.
Yeah.
What do you know about Bob Catter? What can you enlighten us?
Well, first and foremost, it's great to see that this is the reputation of Australia on the world stage. This is what makes it out of Australia.
Yeah.
Bob Catter's an interesting guy. So he was he's from Queensland, which is I suppose the most conservative state within Australia. which, again, this is using an American lens over non-American countries, so it's never as black and white as that.
Yeah.
But in general, Queensland tends to be the most sort of, we'll say, I wouldn't even say right-wing, it just tends to be the most conservative, and Bob Katter was, so he's interesting because I could not tell you a single thing about his policy, which I think is how they operate.
Yeah, it's
why
all
they
very
do the
smoke and
things
mirrors.
they do.
Again, like
Yeah.
if you ask anyone at this rally on Saturday, what's your favourite reform policy?
No, I couldn't tell you.
They
I
couldn't
don't think
name
they've
one.
got one. Anyway,
No.
What I will tell you about Bob Katter, what anyone, if you ask in Australia, will remember Bob Katter, is one time when Bob Katter was was being asked about essentially his stance on gay marriage. So the full context is this was after a not even a referendum. I guess it was a plebiscite is what they called it.
Yes. Yeah.
On gay marriage, where they basically ask all of Australia to vote on gay marriage because that makes sense to vote for a
Yeah.
human right.
Let's see if
exactly.
do we fancy giving human rights?
Exactly. But they asked him about it, and he gave a very surprisingly progressive answer.
Wow. I have the clip.
Do you know what? I'm going to let this clip speak for itself.
Yep. Here is Bob Katter on same-sex marriage.
I mean, people are entitled to their sexual proclivities. I mean, let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom as far as I'm concerned. But I ain't spending any time on it because in the meantime, every 3 months, a person is torn to pieces by a crocodile in North Queensland.
It's so strange, the switch up, obviously, in topic and in tone. When he's talking about gay marriage, he sounds like he's on his deathbed. He's like, everyone's entitled to their sexual proclivities. And then as soon as he's got that energy to really get into the crocodile
do you know what it is?
issue.
In the beginning of it, when you rewatch it back knowing what's coming after, you can tell that he's angry about the crocodile thing from the beginning. Like, that's what he actually wants to talk about. It's a bit like he's like, I don't care. But what I really want to talk about is these goddamn crocodiles killing one person every 3 months.
Yeah, for a year doesn't seem that crazy.
Yeah. But that's the kind of man Bob Katter is, all right?
Yeah.
He cares about his constituents down to the individual member.
Yeah. Maybe he should have married his answer together. It's just like, well, gay couples can't get married if one of them is torn apart by a crocodile.
Can you imagine? 4 gay couples every year don't get married in Australia purely because of the crocodile problem.
There we go. That's how you get the Liberals to care.
Honestly, it's one of those things where you almost like, you kind of just accept that, all right, yeah, an elected official just said that. And it just said and we're all just like, Bob, isn't he funny?
Yeah.
And you're just like,
so he must have been in for ages. He's a very sort of weathered man, shall we say?
Oh yeah. Bob Katter's been around for a long time. I mean, I've been in the UK for about 6 years, and I was in Australia for 10 years before that, and he was a mainstay the entire time. I think he's one of those ones where there was a brief period, I remember, that he kind of angled to be the Donald Trump of Australia, and then I think even the man who really cares about 4 crocodile deaths a year, even he was like, that's a bit much, I reckon. I think I should tone this down. I don't know if people are gonna like this, and so he sort of worked away from it. But don't quote me on this. I'm not a Bob Katter expert.
No, well, that's why we've booked you, Runi. We're gonna have to.
Sorry, I got to update my resume. I got to stop putting that up front.
Yeah, that was top of your website. That's very. It's interesting because we mentioned Trump, because this is obviously an iconic Bob Katter a soundbite.
Yeah,
it does feel like the sort of thing that would just get lost in a Trump speech. Like, he'd be doing a 3-hour ramble, and that's just something he'd say.
He did a whole debate where he said that there's a town eating cats and dogs. We just don't talk about that anymore.
That's a good point,
as a
actually.
society.
He says so
that
much
just doesn't come up anymore.
Yeah.
Even the people who support him afterwards were like, yeah, that was a bit stupid. It's just like, yeah, but fine, okay, I guess we're fine then.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's very clever, because at a certain point, right, you get associated with something, right? So it's that old joke of it's a very dumb joke, but it's that old joke of you live a big life, you build all these houses, you help people, you be a member of a community, but you fuck one goat.
Yeah, and then you're a goat fucker. Yeah.
Right? Also very correct,
Yeah.
And the point of me saying this isn't to say I think we should be kinder to goat fuckers. I don't want to say that. I want that to be on the record.
It's that bobcatter fucks goats. That's what we want on the record.
It's that if he does, like he says, like let 1,000 blossoms bloom.
Indeed,
as long as he's not fucking a crocodile.
Yeah, real sort of strange human-crocodile relations with Bobcatter. Do you know what? He's so... And I made this mistake with producer Conan. I was like, why didn't you have this soundbite? Turns out it's not Bobcatter. Do you know the man I'm thinking of? That did the rabid dog on Australian TV. Have you seen this clip?
I don't
it's
think
this man. He's talking about this like dog attack, and it's the cadence. He even looks a little bit like Bob Catter. He's like, and then well, you're from New Zealand, so it's fine to do the Australian accent. Where these dogs coming at me. I don't know how that translates onto the radio.
I think I have seen this clip.
And I thought, because it's the same energy, I thought that guy was Bob Catter, but it turns out it's not.
No, you could do an entire radio show just on discussing Australian TV show clips or like news clips.
There's what's the crime? Having a succulent Chinese meal.
That's a very famous one. That guy passed away last year, actually.
He did, very
day for the internet.
Yeah. So obviously, you've got ties to all these places.
Yes.
New Zealand, a much more popular international politician, Jacinda Ardern. Just on icons, and maybe what you feel in your heart. Who would you like to fly the flag for? Are you like, I want to be in the Australian camp and have, succulent Chinese meal man. I want to be in the Plymouth camp and have, I don't know anyone famous from Plymouth, actually.
I think the only person from Plymouth is Tom Daly.
Well, there you go. Well, who are you? You've got so many sort of icons to pick from related to where you've been in your life.
Yeah. So is this someone I'm trying to emulate, or just that I'm like a big champion?
Who's your number one icon that you feel geographically connected to?
Okay. Do they have to be a real person?
No. I'm interested to see where this is going.
Oh no. I was just gonna say, genuinely, my icon is Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings, which I only made that connection because of New Zealand.
There we go.
That's part of the connection. So I mean, don't get me wrong, New Zealand has lovely people, and I would say pound for pound better politicians than the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But I would never answer a politician anyway.
So it's Samwise. There you go.
Samwise Gamgee.
Samwise Gamgee, a wonderful hobbit.
And that's topical because Sean Astin was just nominated the SAG-AFTRA president.
Well, there you go. Look at that. Pulse of the nation. Yeah. Thank you for bringing
me
back to
a different nation, but still a pulse of a nation.
Pulse of a nation.
That's what's important, right?
Which does sound a little bit like sort of a translated title of some sort of like Nazi, documentary. The Pulse of a Nation. It's like the rise of anyway.
Where we get too much American news when I know the president of SAG-AFTRA, but I don't know anything about BAFTA. I don't know who. Does it have a president structure?
Well, we're going to Google that in the break, and we're going to tell you who the BAFTA president is, and we'll also be talking to
and what movie were they in?
Cheryl Ferguson, who I don't think has won a BAFTA, but again, we'll do all this research in the break. Hello and welcome back to the Pulse of the Nation. I got the title of my own show wrong there. In the break, we found out that the president of BAFTA is Prince of Wales, William, and are on the line now. Sadly, a great injustice, not a BAFTA winner, but they have won Indie Soap Awards Funniest Performance, and they are a legend, an icon, and now an author as well. It's the wonderful Cheryl Ferguson. Hello.
Hello, you two. How are you all?
Very good, thank you.
It's all getting a bit heated in there, isn't it? Sometimes.
Oh yeah. This is my co-host Runi.
Hi, Runi.
And I'm Andrew, and we will be getting into so much of your career, of your life. You've done so much stuff, Cheryl, and most importantly, right now, you've got a brilliant book out, behind the scenes, your life beyond EastEnders. How has that been? What's the reception been like since publishing?
I tell you what, to be quite honest with you, I'm blown away with it. I'm absolutely blown away. The response has been amazing. People have been stopping me in the street who have bought it and said, "Oh, I bought your book." Well, actually, they say, "I bought your book," because I live up north now, you see. So it's not a southern accent up here.
Yeah.
But they bought the book. People have been online and they've made videos. Well-known people, faces have done the same, got the book and read it. And I'm not seriously blown away. But then I was blown away when Steve McFadden, who obviously won his well and truly brilliant NTA the other day, basically he wrote a foreword in it. He is like my big brother in real life. We I see him often when I'm in London, and he wrote a foreword in it along with David Walliams in the book, and it chokes me up every time I read it, to be quite honest with you, because you don't get to hear many people talk about you, or they don't write about you, and so it was absolutely a joy to read. And Steve doesn't say things lightly. He's not like that at all. You know, he keeps his cards close to his chest. So yeah, I'm just the response has been amazing. I want people to read it because there are so many things in there that I'm sure will touch other people's lives, things they can relate to. You know, there's funny stories. There's obviously stories about EastEnders. There's stories about the Queen in it. There's stories about Queen.
Oh, yeah.
There's stories about you know, meeting George Michael. There's stories about being friends with George Michael. There's stories about Barbara Windsor, Jean Brown, lots and lots of people who have now no longer with us anymore. That is always in my heart, to be quite honest with you. So it was a joy to be able to write about those people as well. But you know, there's been some real ups and downs in my life. It started in an odd way, and we joke in the family that, you know, I started off as an appendicitis because my mum hid me. She hid me. You know, she hid her pregnancy. So everybody thought she was going in for an appendicitis, and it wasn't. Out popped me. So there we go. You know, it started from the beginning. It was quite an amazing story. And you know, if you wrote a soap story around my life, you'd have to put all the soaps together to be able to.
Well, that has been, I've seen obviously so much, as you say, David Williams, Julian Clary, lots of people have been saying lovely stuff about this book. I'm very excited to read. I'm going to wait for the 6th of November. I'm going to get you reading it yourself when the audiobook comes out.
Good luck to you, because this War and Peace, mate, it goes on for about 9 hours.
Well, it'll be 9 hours well spent.
It's well worth it. It was a real triumph to go into the studio and actually, I've never narrated out. I mean, I'm not even a voiceover person, you know, I don't do voiceovers, and actually surprised myself, to be quite honest, with being able to bring the book alive and trying to attempt to do Barbara Windsor's voice, trying to attempt to sort of do Steve McFadden's voice, you know, all of these sort of things in there. But it was really hard work to do, but I was buzzing at the end of the week when I'd done it. It was again another achievement, and I can't believe it. You know, I turned 60 the other week, and I just thought, gosh, you know, keep going, Cheryl. There's lots of things you want to do still. You know, it's amazing.
I wanted to ask about your writing process on the book, because like you said, it's such a, you know, to be able to mine your stories from your whole life. Did you find it challenging, rewarding? Just how did you find the process of just getting words onto paper? Were you pretty good with it? I know I'm the most inconsistent writer. I will write in verse and then I won't write for ages. Just what I think how you
what it was. It took. I mean, I was on tour with I was on tour for 4 years, for 6 months at a time, with a thing called Menopause and Musical. And don't ask, because only so many years you can be menopausal, and I've stopped doing it now, you know. So you know, it's like that's enough now. But I was on tour with various of the Nolans. They were on with me, but I was on tour with Maureen, and we do nothing on the bus but, you know, talk about our lives. And she said, "My gosh, Cheryl, you got a story, why don't you write it?" And this was about three and a half years ago. And I just thought, well, she could be right, but how do you go about these things? Because I mean, you know, I still kind of write songs. My son writes poetry and books. He's a great writer and actor. So I I thought, well, I know how to put words together, but actually the best way I can do it is because I can talk for the UK. So just talking to my phone, and doesn't matter which way it goes, higgledy-piggledy. And then I literally asked the publisher if they were interested, and then I worked with another person who was able, I mean, it was all my words, but they were able to kind of just put them in a way that was like in an order. And it's not chronological. It doesn't go in a chronological order. It flips from here, there, and everywhere. And I like that kind of thing, because life's like that. Life doesn't just go, you just can't kind of trundle on. You think about things that you did before, and then you go and do those things. So I think the process was really, you know, it was literally speaking into my phone and getting every single bit of memory. And there could have been a lot more, but you know, there's only so many pages people can read, really.
Yeah.
Paid it for a book
amazing.
too, I think. You know.
Yeah. Well, indeed, you have had quite a life of all sorts of stuff. There's love, there's heartbreak, there's health scares, financial crises. Obviously, you had so much, and particularly in the last few years, you've been through quite a lot as well. When you were going through all this, did you have a good support network? Did obviously you mentioned Steve McFadden there. Did any sort of old EastEnders castmates come? Were they there for you? Could you lean on them?
Yeah, I mean, I left EastEnders, and a series of events happened. I went into the Big Brother house, and that was fantastic. And I just married my second husband, who and he's Moroccan, and we planned this kind of amazing life where we were going to go and I could pay my mortgage off here, and we were going to go and build a house out in Morocco and live there as well part of the years. We had an amazing plan, but a lot of stuff happened when I came out of the house. It was pretty horrendous. And not to sort of spoil the book, but I mean, I think it's common knowledge. I was conned out of a lot of money by an accountant. And unfortunately, it happened when I was, come out of the Big Brother house and had this amazing check that I'd put into the bank, and then it wasn't. It kind of had to come out again and be paid to the tax man, and it was just absolutely horrendous. But I then got cancer just not long, and I think a lot of it was the stress and everything else that was going on. But I'm a great believer that what is going on in the outside of you happens to the inside of you as well. So things, you store stuff and things can happen. Now, I don't know if that's the truth or not, but I believe that you can just calm yourself down a little bit, to be quite honest with you. But at that time, it was literally like being on a hamster wheel and you couldn't get off.
Yeah.
And I literally, I got cancer and I couldn't afford my mortgage. People like Barbara Windsor and Linda Henry, who played Shirley, they all literally helped out. I mean, I went to Barbara's house, and I told her about it, and I was only about a week away from having surgery. And she said, "Oh, go on, Scott, go you know what you got to do." And Scott came in and she literally wrote a check out for my mortgage and for bills for me for like the next couple of months, 3 months or something. And it was just like, the most unexpected help, because I didn't have enough money at that particular point to pay my mortgage. I had to sell my house. I had to do loads of stuff, and the book explains it all, really, what actually happened. But the generosity that you don't know of these people, you only learn about their generosity, unfortunately, sometimes when they've passed away. Same as George Michael, you didn't know his generosity as a person until he passed away. When you realise he was giving money here, there, and everywhere to people to have IVF treatments, to all the charities that he belonged to, and he was anonymous about them. So I think the thing is, it's, for me, the support network is not necessarily always your family, and I'm aware of that as well in my life, that your friends become your family and they stick by you through thick and thin, and they're always there when you're at your lowest and you're at the rock bottom and you're going to a food bank. Those people are there. And then at the same time, they're there when they're clapping you and praising you when you're like walking down a red carpet and you've got a little award in your hand. I mean, those are the types of people you need around you all the time, that's going to be there through thick and thin.
Yeah.
And the rest is kind of like, it's like baggage, really. You don't need a lot of the rubbish that people give. So, I feel like they, go and find somebody else who's going to help you with your problems, and you be kind, because there's 2 words I say in life and 3 things, but the 2 words I go by is communicate and educate. And communicate, you talk to people and you listen. Educate, you teach and you're taught. That's the 2 words. And then we're called humankind. That's what we're called. So why can't we be kind humans? It's not rocket science to be that, is it, really? So be a humankind, be a kind human, and just have respect for people, and you don't have to always believe what they believe, or to think what they think, or have their politics or their whatever it is. But at the same time, it's about respecting people and knowing sort of boundaries and limits and educating yourself.
Yeah.
And communicating. That's all it is.
A brilliant message, and I'm very glad you had kind humans around you at some of those low moments. Now, look, I got one more final question. Well, first of all, I want to replug your wonderful book, Behind the Scenes, available at all good retailers. The audiobook comes out on the 6th of November as well, so you can listen to Cheryl reading it herself. Now, you are an icon in many, many circles, especially lots of Pride events. I know you're always booked and busy in the summer. You do singing engagements. My question is on that because I rediscovered you on my TikTok singing songs. I know you did stuff with the Groove Chorus. So it's a two-parter. What is your favourite song to sing? What really gets you in the mood? And secondly, just because it's been mentioned a few times online, would you ever duet with Sean Williamson?
I love Sean, and Sean's got his own thing, and he's a brilliant singer. I've seen him live as well. So never say never. Yeah. But you see, my collaboration, I got a little bit of a bucket list, if I'm honest. Yeah. And I would quite like to do a collaboration, either a cover or one of his own with Lewis Capaldi.
Oh, that's a good pairing.
That would be my go-to. If anybody could I say knock on my door. That's a really old-fashioned, isn't it? If anybody called my, when everybody knocked on my door, I'd go bugger off. No, I wouldn't. If anybody knocked on my door or rang the phone to my agent and they said they were something to do with Lewis Capaldi, and I wouldn't even just they couldn't even finish the sentence. They go Lewis, and I go Capaldi, and before they could say no, it's doing Lewis Carroll at Christmas, I'd be very upset. So Lewis Capaldi is my go-to to do a collaboration with. As far as the song goes, gosh, it depends on your moods. I mean, I can literally be not very well, actually, I have to say this. I can literally be going around the house singing Janet Kay, for example, but she's a bit high, to be quite honest. So I leave that to my son because he's got an amazing high voice. But I love sort of any genre of music. I love Motown. I quite like singing Love Train at the moment because I think it's an absolute belter that needs to come back and needs to be done. And I think, even if it's like, I don't know, one of these charity singles, whatever it is, it needs to basically pull the world a bit together, and we all need to join that love train, and we all need to just I'd be happy to be that one that's not very well known, but I'll sing on it, a bit like Live Aid. I'll be the one in the background who's sort of hiding their head. But I'd be quite happy to do that if anybody fancies a collaboration on that as well.
Well, there you go, a beautiful message to end on. Be kind humans. Sing, love. Make sure you get Cheryl's book Behind the Scenes.
If you're listening, you know what to do. You know who
that's
to
the most
reach out
important
to.
call to action. Lewis Capaldi or anyone who has the contacts, Cheryl Ferguson is waiting for the call. Thank you so much for joining us.
Cheryl.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome. Oh my goodness, that was quite grandiose, wasn't it? Hello and welcome back to Pearls of the Nation. That was Cheryl Ferguson. What an icon to have the Heather Trott down the line. Do go check out her book, Behind the Scenes. Now, behind the scenes here, we had the wonderful Abigoliah come into the studio. Hello, Abigoliah.
Hello. Good to see you again.
How are you? I was saying,
Runi.
You think you might be our most returning guest.
There is a huge advantage to living down the street.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say we booked this week's in advance. I might have gotten a message that I'm around when there's a dropout, and Andrew knows that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm very glad to have you. And behind the scenes, turns out you might have the connection to Lewis Capaldi because he's seen you do stand-up.
Yeah. So Lewis was in the audience of a show that I closed, and it was at the West End Comedy Club, which is no longer around anymore. And it was a room above a pub, so maybe 40 to 50 audience members were in there. So everyone knew Lewis was in the room. And when the show ended, he was as far away from the exit as one could be, right? So when the show ended, everyone stood up and just kind of pretended to look at their phone to have him walk by to get pictures. And I walked over to him and was like, hey, thanks for coming and thanks for being so cool about it. Because everyone knew he was there. Yeah. And he was like, yeah, no, It's great. I loved it. Great show. You want to have a drink? And I sat and had a couple beers with Lewis and his date. And then afterwards, he was like, we're going to go to another bar. Do you want to come? And I was like, I think you should go on your date. I think I have to go now.
I think he was on his date.
Yeah. Oh,
I could have slipped in there.
No, that's very funny, though. Because he's also quite conspicuous, isn't he? He's like a tall guy.
Yeah.
Really? Like it's hard for him to blend in anyway.
Is there a celeb that's been in your audiences?
In my gigs.
Yeah.
No, just other comedians.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great comedians, but I wouldn't.
No.
I would never call them celebs to their faces.
What
Right.
What about you?
Because
I have two others.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I have other celeb stories, like of meeting celebs, but
they're not
No,
being
in your
crowds.
audience.
and not in my own audience. No.
I had the old posh couple from Gogglebox. They were they sort of owned. I think
All right,
they
well, if
owned
that's the
pub.
level of celebrity, then I've got celebrity.
Yeah, I
as
was
well.
like,
All right, yeah,
I've
sure.
got real celebrities
Yeah.
over here.
Okay.
Yeah, my uncle came to the show once. Yeah, no, he's pretty famous in part of Plymouth. You know what I mean?
The posh old couple from Gogglebox, Steph and I don't know who they are.
I've
called,
never
actually.
seen Gogglebox. So.
Giles. No, not Giles. Not that one. Oh, goodness, I'll find out their
You
name.
don't even
I'll be
know
honest.
what celebrities were in your
Yeah.
show.
Okay, I'll climb
real
down.
quick,
Let's see yours.
just to brag.
Go on, please.
Now, these two I did not meet after the show, but Darren Brown
Oh wow,
and
good.
Neil Patrick Harris.
that's huge.
I have met Neil Patrick, but not in the
You've
audience.
met him?
Not in the audience of my show.
See, he was at my show, and I actually went out to find him. I was
Yeah.
like, I have to meet him, but he had already left by the time I
I-
got there.
Don't know if I can legally say this, but I met him in a bathroom at Edinburgh.
I
Very late.
I have a friend who has also gone out drinking with Neil.
It was
in
during the
Edinburgh.
festival. He was
yeah,
at the festival.
yeah.
It was a very late night, and in the bathroom at Assembly, near Assembly Bar.
Interesting.
Were you drinking in the bar at his? Wait,
No,
you
no.
met him in the bathroom?
We ran into each other in the bathroom.
Okay,
I say I met him in the bathroom.
Yeah,
I peed
that's
next to Neil Patrick Harris. That's the story. is
that's
I peed
pretty
next to Neil
great.
Patrick
That's
Harris.
pretty great.
We gave each other like nods as we were leaving.
Yeah, you nodded like I know who you are, and he nodded like you know who I am.
Exactly. No, he was definitely nodding like, oh, you seem like an interesting comedian that I'm going to try and follow their career and their trajectory. That's what his nod, I felt like. was
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
But my nod was definitely, wow, you're Neil Patrick Harris. I peed next to you.
I mean, the same year, he might have been coming to see you and then peeing with Rooney.
Yeah, yeah. Who
There you
knows?
go. Steph and Dom. I found the Gogglebox people. Whilst you were
These are just
trading
names, Andrew.
Neil Patrick Harris blows, I found the names. Steph and Dom. They were in the audience.
If you told me that there were 3 guys on Gogglebox called Neil, Patrick, and Harris, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, just a real quick tech issue. I don't know if I'm supposed to hear anything out of these yet, but I can't hear anything out of
I
it.
can't hear anything
Interesting.
out of this one, but I'm assuming it's because you're not playing anything.
I'm not
right
playing. Well, you should be able to hear my voice though. Through the
No, I can hear
headphones.
nothing.
Oh, okay. I wonder whether we can get producer Kieran in to see if we can, because we're about to do an audio quiz that we
I
do.
can hear other things through it, but your voice just.
Am I supposed to?
Oh yeah, no, I can
You
hear
can
it.
hear it.
I
Okay,
can
really
hear it.
can hear
I can
it.
hear it.
Oh,
Oh, is there
here we
an
go.
on button? that
Behind
I
the
just didn't-
scenes once again?
Yeah, there we go.
Can you
Okay,
hear me now?
Is that better?
There we go. All
Thank
right,
you,
let's go.
thank you, Kieran. Thank you for flagging that, Abigoliah, because that would have been really awkward if we got to the quiz and you couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Now, look, I'm keen to move on because, quite frankly, you put me to shame with your A-list encounters. That is very, very impressive. I won't make you tell your Beyonce story again, but Abigoliah has had a lot of brushes with fame, and she has got a brand new podcast.
Yes, I do.
It is all British Comedy Explained. You can follow the podcast at British Comedy Pod. You're doing it with the wonderful Tom Salinsky.
Yes.
And so you are an American and you've come to the UK and you are constantly shamed by the comedy industry, by comedians for not knowing sitcoms.
Yeah, for someone who desperately wants to be on British television and do comedy on British television, I've seen almost none of it. So Tom, my podcast partner, who is just an encyclopedia of all things comedy and entertainment, has taken me under his wing. And each week we will go through a comedy television show, like a sitcom or a sketch show, and we will watch 2 episodes. He will explain the history to me, and then we watch the episodes, and then we discuss them. So the podcast actually launches October 2nd, but you can already subscribe to it now on any podcatcher, and we have a YouTube. But we've already recorded the first one, and it was Monty Python's Flying Circus.
You never seen Monty Python?
Really?
I've seen the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen Life of Brian, but I've never seen Flying
Like the
Circus.
Flying Circus, yeah.
And afterwards, I think Tom was. I shouldn't give away the episode. He might be a little annoyed with me because the entire time we watched season 3, episode 10, and there was a background actor, and I was like, "That's Tom Waits." And Tom was like, "That's not Tom Waits." And I was like, "I promise you, that's Tom Waits."
Yeah.
And so when we got back and he was like, "What did you think of the show?" And I was like, "I can't believe they got Tom Waits as a background actor." And he was like, "It wasn't Tom Waits." But I swear, guys,
Have you Googled?
FUBAR,
Was that not
those
in like
I have-
1963 or something?
I have, and no one has, like, the internet hasn't confirmed, but I did a quick Google.
It hasn't denied it either.
It hasn't denied it
That's what I'm
either.
hearing.
And so I do have some stills. I'm going to make a little video. I'm going to reach out to John Cleese and the rest and be like, "That was Tom Waits,
out to
wasn't
Tom
it?" It
himself.
does make sense that he's the kind of guy who would just show up like that. I swear to God. It's the sketch where, for those of you listening at home, it's the sketch where they're talking about dirty books. And there's a guy in the background in a hat who just kind of like is there and then walks out, and I will die on this hill. It's Tom Waits.
How old is Tom Waits?
He's dead. He's dead now. But
How
at
old would
the
he?
at the
Died.
time, he would have been like 30, because that's Tom Selinsky, my podcast partner, was like, he would have been too young. And I'm like, no.
He would have been in his 20s.
He would have been in
Oh,
his
then maybe?
20 yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was him. I swear. It was
Okay, well, there you go. That's episode 1, and it's already a great mystery.
Yeah.
So there's much more to tune into. And some of these shows, I am surprised not to buy into everyone else also bullying you, but Victoria Wood, The Day Today, Goon Show, Young Ones, even The Office, the British Office.
I've never seen the British Office. So the first season, Tom curates everything, and I just show up and be a dummy. So we've cast ourselves well. And the first season is 8 episodes of our podcast, and it's called Landmarks, which is what Tom thinks I have to watch
Yeah, these are
in
critical
order
ones.
to understand British comedy. These are the most important ones. So if listeners disagree, please write in. But we will be doing Monty Python's Flying Circus, the Young Ones, not only, but also the Goon Show, which to me sounds like it's going to be racist. Victoria
I reckon most of those might be.
Yeah.
racist, actually,
Victoria Wood, as seen on TV, The Office, The Day Today, and I'm sorry, I haven't a clue. Those are the first
that's a
8.
These
good-
are quite foundational, though, as
So
well.
have you, because
I've seen a few of them. I've not
Yeah.
seen all of them.
is there anything that people really grill you for not having seen?
Not grill me necessarily. My Vicar of Dibley, I got used to get a lot before I watched it because my girlfriend was like, "Have you not seen Vicar of Dibley?" I'm like, "I'm not from the UK."
Of course,
I don't know
and
what
she's
else
from
to tell
Plymouth
you."
as well. That's
She's
like
from Plymouth, exactly.
Vicar of Dibley.
But also because it's like I think hers was more like it's Dawn French and Jennifer Thorne. Like they're like
Yeah.
royalty. You have to watch everything that they're in.
Yeah.
So after that's when I watched like Ab Fab and all those. So that was probably the only one. I think now there's nothing that's like, I guess Mrs. Brown's Boys.
I've seen clips of it. I was paid by Channel 5 to watch clips of
That's really
comedies
funny.
and then comment on them. So I've seen Mrs.
I
Brown.
love how
Boys
on
through
the
that.
record you said, I have seen clips, but I just want to
I've
get on
been-
the
I've
record
been
that I was paid
paid.
for
I was
it.
paid
Yeah.
to see them. The Vicar of Dibley, my other podcast, Neurodivergent Moments, co-hosted with Joe Wells, he always gives me hell for not having seen comedies, and the Vicar of Dibley's come up, and he's like, "How could you have not?"
You would love
seen
it, I think.
that?"
I find it interesting when people have like, well, I've seen these things, therefore this is what everyone's experience must be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could be
Yeah.
like,
Joe,
well, maybe,
Joe
maybe
is
I understand
very like that.
Yeah,
Joe,
yeah.
Joe has got.
I do like Joe.
Yeah.
I do like Joe. But there are times where I'm like, I've caught myself doing the same thing. Where we had this interesting thing. Have you guys seen the show called Pingu?
No.
Yes.
You've seen Pingu.
Yes.
It's like it's a children's.
It's a little like
cut-
claymation penguin.
claymation
Here's-
animated. thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I've seen.
Yeah.
This is on the socials, right?
There
It must
are
be now.
TikToks of
It was
it,
a
yeah.
TV show from like when we were kids. Basically, I would. I've found out that the Pingu theme tune is different in Australia and New Zealand than it is in the UK.
Interesting.
So when I was singing the Pingu theme tune, because I was, I don't know, high or something, my girlfriend looked at me like, what are you singing? I'm like, it's the Pingu tune. And then she was like, that's not the Pingu tune. And then she looked it up, and the first video was my tune. And then she had a moment where she was like, you know, the whole like Berenstain Bears stuff, when she's like, am I in an alternate universe? And then the next video was the UK tune. It turns out it was a different
two
tune.
Pingu tunes.
Yeah.
There we go.
Pingu tunes.
What a weird set of circumstances for that to have even occurred.
Can you guys do Pingu on your podcast?
Tom has some rules. No movies, no game shows, and he's already breaking one rule apparently in our first season. No cartoons.
No cartoons.
So
what rules are you breaking?
Apparently the last one's sort of a game show.
Sorry, I haven't a clue.
Yes.
Yes.
So, go check out All British Comedy Explained. That is at British Comedy Pod and at Abigoliah, Abigoliah.
Well done.
Thank you very much. I had it written down to be before we head. This always happens. The end of the show rolls around so quickly. But I do want to get this headline in because this got sent to us, and I'm very fascinated. Aldi launches limited edition gender reveal Cuthbert cakes. Now, we are no stranger to Cuthbert, Colin the Caterpillar chat here on Pulse of the Nation. Are you both familiar with the famous caterpillar cakes?
Oh, yes.
It's a cake that looks like a caterpillar, right?
Exactly. Bingo. And Aldi have got a gender reveal version to celebrate most babies being born in September, featuring either blue or pink icing. Now, what do we make of this iteration, particularly of gender reveals, and also just generally gender reveals as a whole? Yes.
So
Runi.
I have some mechanical questions first.
Okay.
About the situation. I'm guessing it's inside the cake, right? Like it still looks like the normal caterpillar cake, because otherwise it defeats the purpose of the reveal if it's like a blue cake or a pink
Well,
cake.
my question is also, does the box say gender reveal cake boy on it?
Yeah,
Because
well,
this is very hard.
Yeah, that's good. So yes, they've got pink and blue chocolate beans, and then the inside is buttercream that's either pink or
But
blue.
there's pink and chocolate on the outside of the cake.
There you go. Here it is. So you see the little chocolate beans are pink and
they're pink and blue.
Okay.
I see.
And then the
So it could
inside
be
would be-
is there a yellow as well?
I think that's the traditional Cuthbert.
Gotcha.
The Cuthbert as God intended, if you will. And then the gender reveal has different buttercream in the middle. Have you ever been to a gender reveal, either of you?
No.
No, I've never not.
Would you go if invited?
Depends on how remote the location is.
You are. That sounds like you're gonna get murdered.
Well, no, it's just I've for some reason in my head I've really come to associate gender reveals with forest fires. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, when
like
they set off
there seems to be a sense of like, we throw a lot of powder up, and that powder catches fire because we had fireworks or something, and then all of a sudden, like a local.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Here's the Cuthbert.
Okay.
The cross section of Cuthbert with either blue or pink.
I feel like it's mainly cake still, isn't it? It's not that much.
It is mostly
icing.
cake, but that's good. I would like cake.
I prefer more cake.
I just think if you're going to do a gender reveal, if you're going to do all that palaver, don't do it cheaply like this.
Yeah. If you are going to do it,
Gotta save up for a
set
stuff for
the
the kid.
state of Colorado on fire.
Exactly, that's what we're saying.
That's what someone did. They fired
The
a
color of
cannon.
the flames, right?
And they set the state of Colorado on fire. I would go to one, mostly because there's likely to be free booze and cake. I know everyone's like, ugh, there's a gender reveal. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, all parties, when you really think about them, are stupid.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, it's an occasion to get together.
Yeah.
If it's I know sometimes there are videos online where the dad looks devastated when it's like
A girl.
blue, pink.
So sorry. I'm going to look devastated now. I'm sorry
time
yeah, it's time to go. Also, what a sexist moment for me to interrupt a woman talking about sexism. But there we go. That is the end of the show. Thank you so much.